Welcome to Standard Voice News Channel. I am Samira Ibrahim. Here are your top stories for today. Zamfara Police Command deploys 2 units of joint security operatives to villages attacked by bandits. Controversy surrounds federal government cash transfer in Zamfara State. Nigeria records 216 new cases of COVID-19, total infections now 12,486. On business, virus pandemic impact reducing. And on the international scene, President Trump recalls National Guard. Now the news in details. Normalcy has been restored in Tungar Lauti, Zamangida and other villages in Talatan Mafara and Maru local government areas following attacks by suspected armed bandits on 2nd and 3rd June 2020. The Zamfara State Commissioner of Police, CP Usman Nagago, has returned all the internally displaced persons, IDPs, of the incident back to their respective villages. This is equal to logistical support provided by the state government under the leadership of Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawalli that includes the provision of trucks for evacuation of IDPs, provision of relief materials to the evacuated IDPs, welfare of all the joint security agents deployed to safeguard the communities against future attacks by unrepentant bandits. While briefing officers and men deployed for the operation, CP Usman Nagogo charged them to be more alive to their responsibilities and conscious of their personal safety as well as the safety of the people they are serving. He also urged them to avoid the issue of rivalry. Instead, they should work as one family in order to succeed in their mandate.
The security are here to provide security. The state government has already had a lot of vehicles, and the specific instruction we are given on no account should security agent be there without the IDPs. And that is why the state government took hire of a lot of vehicles. And if you are living with them, we went to all the camps, and in those places, the counters that were here, the IDPs were fake, and we came along with them, and they were happy. You can see from their countenance, they are happy that the government is responsive, and this is what is supposed to be the function of the government, and the government has been responsible on this.
In his remarks, the Commissioner for Security and Home Affairs, Alhaji Abubakar Muhammad Dawran, reiterated the commitment of the state government to secure the lives and properties of all citizens of the state. He called on the people of the area to give maximum cooperation to both the state government and security agents deployed to their areas.
By God's grace, this measure will reach the executive governor so that he will do something about the roads. For us to be, at least the security agent will get access to the road so that there will not be harm to anybody that is trying to either attack or whatever. And also, moreover, the villagers will also to be useful for them to have access to the main road of coming to the villages.
In his votes of thanks, the district head of Kanuma, who was visibly overwhelmed by the state government response to the incident, pledged the support and cooperation of his people to the state government and security agencies in their effort to secure their lives and properties. Scores of armed bandits have been neutralized and their weapons destroyed in airstrikes executed by the air component of Operation Hadarin Daji in Zamfara State. The coordinator of defense media operations, Major General John Eneche, disclosed this in a statement on Sunday. He noted that the operations were conducted on Saturday at the 2 bandits' camps in Sebiri and Manya in Zurmi local government areas of the state, as part of the offensive operations to rid the northwest and north central of banditry. The air interdiction mission at Sebiri, which is located 15 kilometers east of Zurmi, was executed on the heels of credible human intelligence reports indicating that the camp, with its clusters of thatched huts, was being used by the bandits to house their fighters and store their weapons and ammunition. Accordingly, 2 Nigerian Air Force attack helicopters were dispatched to engage the location, scoring accurate hit on the target area, leading to the destruction of the structures and the weapons and ammunition stored in them, as well as the neutralization of bandits in the huts and surrounding bushes. General Eneche explained that the attack helicopters later conducted an airstrike on another camp south of Manya, where bandits had gathered for a meeting, which also resulted in the killing of more bandits and some of their leaders. According to him, the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has commended the air component of the Operation Hadarin Daji for their professionalism. Air Marshal Abubakar Sadiq also directed them to remain resolute and continue to provide close air support for ongoing ground operations towards accomplishing the directives of the Chief of Defense Staff, CDS, to restore normalcy in the northwest and north-central zones of the country. Another set of 63 northern youth heading to mining site in Ilesha and Ile-Ife have been intercepted in Ikere, Osun State. 53 of the youth, aged between 16 and 23 years, hidden in a truck, were intercepted by men of Amotekunko on enforcement of border closure in Ikere town. Director General of Amotekunko in the state, Mr. Amitolu Shitu, while speaking to Svtv Punch on Friday, explained that another 10 youths were stopped after they embarked from the vehicle that conveyed them to the state. Mr. Shitu said the youth identified themselves as laborers who worked in mining site in Zamfara state. He added that the youth were heading to mining site in Ilesha and Ile-Ife. He said their men at the roadblock in Ikere intercepted the truck where 53 youths from Zamfara were hiding, and while they were being checked, another 10 youths from the same state who were about to walk past the roadblock were also stopped. Controversy engulfed the federal government conditional cash transfer intervention in Zamfara state on Sunday as the program was postponed following alleged insecurity in the northern state. The federal government also suspended palliative distribution in the state until further notice. The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development announced this in a statement issued in Abuja. It said the ministry has postponed the flag-off ceremony of the conditional cash transfer intervention in Zamfara state due to insecurity. The flag-off chief loans, fertilizer distribution and handing over of COVID-19 palliatives, all scheduled for the weekend in Zamfara, have been suspended till further notice. But a report from the state said the governor of Zamfara state, Dr. Bello Muhammad Matawalli, actually avoided the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadia Umar Farooq, who was in the state on Sunday. Hajia Sadia had gone to the government house to pay a courtesy call on the governor before the commencement of the exercise. However, neither the governor nor any of his aides was available to receive her, and after waiting for several hours without being attended to, she returned to Abuja using a waiting helicopter. The minister's security details prevented her from granting a press interview. Invited guests, especially will-be beneficiaries, return home empty-handed. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has expressed fears over the possibility of crisis affecting party primaries ahead of the governorship elections in Edo and Ondo states, scheduled for September 19 and October 10, 2020 respectively. The Commission called on security agencies to act proactively to contain the threat, while advocating a review of the security architecture in the light of the coronavirus pandemic. It urged them to come up with clear guidelines as well as supplementary code of conduct for security personnel on election duty. The chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, expressed these observations in Abuja on Friday during the first virtual consultative meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. He also said it was necessary for ICCES to evolve effective ways of securing and protecting the integrity of the electoral process, as the COVID-19 pandemic will impact on the planning and development strategy for the conduct of elections generally. The virtual meeting was also joined by the resident electoral commissioners and commissioners of police from Edo and Ondo states. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, tremendous achievements recorded in 1 year of his second term in office, have placed the state among the best states in Nigeria. Besides Ganduja's penchant for innovation and human-oriented practical projects springing up across the state, highlighting some of the contributions of Ganduja's administration in the last 1 year, the Commissioner for Rural and Community Development, Alhaji Musa Eliasu Konkosu, said the governor has fulfilled more than half of his campaign promises. For instance, Kwankwaso stressed that in areas of educational development, Ganduje has taken the state to the highest feat, where he made free and compulsory education for teeming children, most of whom are wards of the poor in the country, most of whom are wards of the poor in the society. Other areas Ganduje surpasses expectations, according to Kwankwaso, include fiscal construction, which first given Kano new face, the construction of 5 flyovers and underpasses in the state to ease the movement of motorists in the metropolitan is evident. While commending the effort of the state governor in curtailing the pandemic of COVID-19, the commissioner calls on the public to always observe safety and preventive protocols that include social distancing, use of face masks, hand washing, and general personal hygiene. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control (NCDC) has announced 260 new positive cases of coronavirus in the country. NCDC disclosed it in a tweet on Sunday night, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in Nigeria to 12,486. According to the health agency, Abia State recorded the highest number of infections for the day in the country, with 67 cases, while the Federal Capital Territory (FCT) and Lagos State had 40 and 38 cases respectively. A further breakdown of the new cases showed that Ogun State has 19 infections, Gombe 16, Edo 14, Imo 9, Kwara 8, and Katsina 8. Others are Nasarawa 8, Borno 8, Kaduna 6, Bauchi 5, Ekiti 4, Niger 2, Ondo 2, Plateau 2, Kano 2, and Sokoto 2. Of the number of positive cases in Nigeria, 3,959 persons have fully recovered and discharged, with 354 deaths, according to the latest figure of the NCDC. The Jama'atul Nasrul Islam GNI Zaria branch on Saturday said research has shown that as a result of hunger, there is high rate of infant and maternal mortality caused by the prolonged lockdown imposed on Kaduna State. Most patients that are being brought to the hospital are malnourished, with virtually all without the capacity to pay little hospital bills. GNI made this known in a press briefing by the chairman and secretary of the society, Abdullahi Yahya and Mahmoud A. Abdullahi, respectively. Malan Yahya said patients suffering from other illness than COVID-19 are being denied access to health care due to the imprudent lockdown. He said if the intention of the lockdown is to save lives of citizens, more lives are being lost on a daily basis that are incomparable with the COVID-19 fatalities. He added that the death rate of patients that were denied proper access to their clinics is heartbroken. On top of the list are infant and maternal mortalities. Failure of government to adopt participatory methodology and approach in planning and implementing the most effective safety measures had induced both formal and informal failure of the economic sector. As part of measures to avoid further loss of human life, Ebonyi State Governor David Weze Umahi has ordered the Nigerian Army, police, and other security organizations in the state to confiscate a dispute land between two communities of Isinko, Okau, and Abemege in Onitsha Council area of the state. The governor, who gave the order weekend in Abakaliki, said the decision is aimed at restoring peace in the locality, as well as ensuring that the lingering communal crisis between the two communities do not record further casualties. It was gathered that he said disputed land has sent some innocent citizens of both communities to their untimely graves. Aside loss of human lives, properties valued several millions of naira have also been destroyed by youths of the warring communities since the crisis began. Governor Umahi, in a statement signed by the State Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, Barrister Ochena Oji, wants the youth of the state communities to stop further killings and destruction of properties or taking laws into their hands, which will result into inflicting injuries on innocent people. A federal high court sitting in Owerri, southeast Nigeria, presided over by Justice Tijani Garba weekend restrained the pro-panel set by the Ebonyi government, proving the former secretary to the state government, SSG, Professor Bernard Odu. The development followed an ex parte motion filed by the plaintiff against the governor and the 7 members of the panel of inquiry. Also joined in the suit as first respondent is the anti-corrupt agency, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The ex-scribe is asking the court to mandate the anti-corrupt agency to probe Mr. Umahi and others named in the petition he wrote alleging financial crimes relating to the 2016 2 billion naira agriculture loan borrowed from the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) by the state government. Governor Umahi had recently engaged in a media war with Professor Odo, who was his former SSG during his first tenure. It could be recalled that the former secretary to the Ebonyi state government resigned his appointment in 2018, citing certain irreconcilable differences between him and the governor. The rising allegations of nepotism against President Muhammadu Buhari are indications that Nigerians feel his promise of inclusive governance in his second term is far from being fulfilled. Soon after receiving his certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) as the winner of the February 23, 2019 presidential election, President Muhammadu Buhari pledged to run an inclusive government in his second term. He assured of engaging all parties that have the best interests of Nigerians at heart. He said the administration will remain inclusive and their doors will remain open to build country's dreams of safety, secure, prosperous, and free of impunity, as well as primitive accumulation by those entrusted with public offices. A year after President Muhammadu Buhari made the pledge, it appears he has continued to tread the old path, which elicited widespread allegations of nepotism against his administration during his first term. Rising clamor for equity and fairness in the policy, especially in the area of appointment, signals the old order still persists. The presidency has accused the indigenous people of Biafra of deliberately tarnishing the image of Nigeria internationally. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Alhaji Garba Shehu, said this in a statement on Sunday. According to him, the group is leading the campaign of false allegations of persecution of Christians in the country. Alhaji Shehu alleged that IPOB was running two interconnected campaigns using the cover of Christianity and calling for the appointment of United States Special Envoy to stop the genocide of Christians in Nigeria. He added that the group began to campaign in October 2019, which he said was being funded with monthly spendings of $85,000. The president's spokesman therefore urged Nigerians and the international community to disregard such campaigns, insisting that they were aimed at destroying the good relationship Nigeria has with the United States and United Kingdom and other countries. On business, over to Fauzia.
Hello there, welcome to Standard First Television Business Updates. The World Bank has advised developing countries and the international community to take steps to speed up recovery as the worst of the coronavirus COVID-19 crisis and the blunt long-term adverse effects passed. It admitted that the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic and the economic shutdowns dealt severe blow to the global economy and especially poor countries. The bank said short-term response measures to address the health emergency and secure core public services will need to be accompanied by comprehensive policies to boost long-term growth, including improving governance and businesses and environment and expanding and improving the results of investment in education and public health. To make future economies more resilient, many countries will need systems that can build and retain mere human and physical capitals during the recovery using policies that reflect and encourage the post-pandemic needs for new types of jobs, businesses, and governance systems. The World Bank Group President David Malpass said the scope and spread with which the COVID-19 pandemic and economic shutdowns have devastated the poor around the world are unprecedented in modern times. That's all on the business update. I am Fauzia Ibrahim.
And on the international scene, U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday ordered National Guard troops to start withdrawing from Washington, where the protests over the killing of George Floyd have been peaceful in recent days. In a telephone briefing with reporters, Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy said guardmen from 11 states who came to assist the DC National Guard will be returning home over the next 2 or 3 days. Altogether, the National Guard force from DC and the state totaled more than 5,000 this past week, though only about 1/3 were on the street at any given time. He said the DC National Guard will, if needed, continue to support Washington police and the federal law enforcement in the city. In addition, McCarthy expressed relief that active duty troops who were brought to bases in Virginia and Maryland just outside Washington were not needed. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a quick look at the major headlines. Zamfara Police Command deploys 2 units of joint security operatives to villages attacked by bandits. Controversy surrounds federal government cash transfer in Zamfara State. Nigeria records 216 new cases of COVID-19, total infections now 12,486. On business, virus pandemic impact reducing. And on the international scene, President Trump recalls National Guard. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, Head of News and Current Affairs Department, Ibrahim Garbatano, I am Samira Ibrahim, wishing you a pleasant day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television News. Goodbye.